I don't know if you knew this or not, but before I went full-time with photography, I used to be a bartender. And I was pretty good at it. I learned a few tricks. Almost lost it. Anyway, what does this have to do with photography niches? I'll show you. Should you niche down in 2024? As you know, when we talk about photography, this is a never-ending subject. I mean, you have so many different niches out here. It's a lot, so should you niche down? Let's look at some examples. Do you guys know who Peter Lick is? Awesome landscape photographer. His images are just surreal, huge, beautiful, giant prints that just make you go like, wow, it makes you feel like you're there. That's his niche, landscape photography, large prints, vivid, bright colors, just like, wow. You know, that's Peter Lick, that's his thing. Now let's look at Peter Hurley. He's known for headshots, headshot photography, incredible work. He developed that whole way of doing this. Lighting and all these things, that's what he's known for. So people go to him because that's what he's good at. Great at. But now, let's go to Peter McKinnon. Can anybody tell me what his niche is? Well, first of all, every niche, every photography niche is different gear. You're gonna need different equipment for different types of photography. If you're shooting portraits, you're gonna need fast prime lenses, a 50, an 85, maybe even a 70 to 200. But if you're shooting wildlife, you're gonna need a very long lens. If you're shooting landscapes, you're gonna want a solid tripod and maybe a wide angle or two, and a zoom lens or a telephoto. So you can see how each photography niche or genre has specific gear related to what you're shooting. You might want a crop sensor instead of a medium format. So your camera, your lenses, your lighting is going to depend on your niche. In this case, by picking one aspect of photography, you can save a lot of money. The other benefit of niching down is when you're good at one thing, people will find you for that one thing that you're really good at. You have your gear, you're good, you share those images, you have a portfolio, people will find you if they're looking for that particular thing. If I do 10 different things, how do I market myself? It's gonna be a lot more difficult to put myself out there so people can find me. If my website has landscapes, portraits, food, you see what I mean? So having one specific thing or multiple websites for every aspect of photography that you do. If I shoot weddings, I'm not gonna include that in my food photography. I'm gonna have a wedding page just for that, just to promote that. It's a lot easier for clients to find you if you niche down. And then the other thing is when you focus on one thing, one particular subject, one niche, you will develop skills. You'll be much better at editing. You'll learn everything inside and out of that particular niche. When you can do that, you'll become more efficient. You'll know just based on lighting, based on any situation, the more you practice, the better you're gonna become. And then that's when you explode. That's when you get really good. That's when people notice how good you are. But it takes practice, it takes time, and it takes dedication. If you flip-flop and jump from place to place, it's gonna be much harder to develop that skill, to develop that style. That's another benefit of niching down. When you do something specific, people will find you. And I gotta be honest with you, the last thing I wanted to be known for in YouTube was stock photography. I know it inside and out, but stock photography has I don't know, it just doesn't seem that glamorous. So I did not want to be known as a stock photographer, but it's what I know, it's what I've done for years. Many years of experience, and when I made one video and people started asking questions, and that's when my channel started to grow, I figured why not? If you're asking for this type of information, then that's what I'm gonna give you. And that's when stock photography comes in, because you can do any niche, you can develop, you can practice until you get really good at something and then decide if that's the way you wanna go. If you don't like that, then you try something different. See, most of us don't know what we wanna be when we grow up. So we gotta try different things. And that's why I love stock photography. You know, you try it, if you like it, great. If you don't, then whatever, you move on to something else. You don't have to decide up front. Then you can build a portfolio and decide if that's the route you want to take. If you want to be specific to food photography, if you want to market yourself as a landscape photographer, or whatever you want to do, you can practice using stock photography. To me, it was a great way to learn. I made a lot of money doing that. And that's why I'm sharing videos and talking about the subject here on YouTube, because I still recommend it in 2024. I still think it's a great way to practice, to make some money, and to develop the skills you need to find a niche in photography if you want to. You don't need a niche for stock photography. Here you can develop a niche, but you don't have to have one. If your photo is sharp, good focus, your subject is clear and it has a concept, you can sell that photo. Chances of that selling are very high. It doesn't matter if it's whatever it is, if it meets that criteria. Now, with that said, if something sells, do more of that subject. When something's working, do more of that. Now, let's get back to Peter McKinnon. Let me know in the comments, what is his niche? I've seen him do landscape photos. He's got a beautiful image and a coin. Then I've seen him do products, a lot of product photography. And then he got one of the best photos of the year with the eclipse and the Red Bull planes. Like, mind blown. What is his niche? How did he get to that? How did he get where he is today? From products to landscapes to now action and sports, with the eclipse capturing a moment in time like that, that's unique, that's probably never gonna happen again. And he got the shot. That's the beauty of living in 2024. We have all these tools, and it's not easy. You have to put the effort, you have to put the time into it, but you can do that if you dedicate enough work, if not time, to put yourself out there as somebody that can do pretty much everything. You don't have to niche down if you're good at everything else. I honestly don't know what his niche is, so if you know, let me know in the comments. Definitely it's something to aspire to be like him, something that motivates me. I see so many different things that, you know, these people are doing today, these content creators. It's not just one thing. Yes, he's a photographer, a content creator, a filmmaker. Awesome. Still talking about Peter McKinnon, by the way. It's just incredible to see someone that, you know, obviously that I can't find his niche, doing so well and capturing historic once-in-a-lifetime images. Just mind blown. Again, let me know in the comments if you think you need a niche, if you think this is important, and what your thoughts are around the subject. I watch a lot of videos and most people say, yes, you do. But again, do you really in 2024? But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I was gonna do the trick again, pouring the milk in the coffee, but I ran out of milk. So anyway, see you guys in the next one. Bye.